In November of 2022, 4 University of Idaho college students were murdered in the home they were sharing. Several weeks later, across the country, Bryan Kohberger was arrested and charged with their murders.
The trial has yet to begin, but there is still some legal maneuvering happening. In court this week, prosecutors are tearing into his alibi, saying it's not specific enough for court. And the defense is pressing for more transparency into the DNA process that police say led them to Kohberger. Liz Krutz has details.
Now on the record, this is State of Idaho versus Bryan Kohberger.
Bryan Kohberger's legal team fighting to unseal DNA records used to pinpoint him as the suspect, while the state argues his alibi comes up short of the legal standard, urging the judge to reject it. Earlier this month, Kohberger's attorney said Mr. Kohberger was out driving in the early morning hours of November 13, 2022, as he often did to hike and run and/or see the moon and stars. Prosecutors now writing that the alibi response continues to lack the specificity required by Idaho code, and the defendant is offering nothing new to his initial alibi. The judge appeared skeptical of that initial alibi last year.
So-called alibi, not really an alibi.
If the judge does reject this alibi, then what?
Then the defendant himself, of course, can always testify and present his evidence.
In charging documents, investigators say Kohberger's phone was turned off during the early morning hours of the murders almost a year and a half ago. Later that day, Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonzalez, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin were found fatally stabbed in their off-campus home near the University of Idaho. A judge entered a not guilty plea on Kohberger's behalf. Prosecutors say DNA left on a knife sheath found at the home was a statistical match to Kohberger's. But the process they used to find the match, using relatives' DNA from genetic genealogy companies, is under fire from Kohberger's defense. His attorneys are now asking the judge to let their investigators review the FBI's materials that prosecutors say led them to Kohberger and to unseal parts of those DNA records.
Where do we go from here?
The legal maneuverings playing out in slow motion for the victims' families eager for a trial date.
This rape, we may never get to try.
Liz Krutz reporting there. A judge will rule later this week on whether an upcoming pre-trial hearing will be open to the public. If convicted, Kohberger faces the death penalty.